Hi, thank you for joining me today. My name is Anna, and in today's class, we are going to be working on freeing up the neck. So a couple of things that we're going to be focusing on, and the first of those is going to be coming out of any type of forward head positioning and working to get the head and the neck in a really solid alignment. So you can think of this as like a little olive sitting on a toothpick, and the olive is going to represent the head and the neck, and then the toothpick is representative of the spine. And so we want our head and our neck to be in alignment with the rest of the spine instead of kind of coming forward like this. The second thing we're going to be working on is freeing up kind of any tightness or restrictions around the neck, maybe down into the shoulders. And then the third thing is working to build some support and some strength for the neck to be able to hold it in that really good positioning. So we are going to get started off in a seated position today. I would recommend grabbing a hold of a block if you have one handy. And so we're going to start in any comfortable seated position. I'm going to sit up on a block here. And then just starting by noticing the position of your head and your neck already. And so a nice way that we can really work on getting the head back is if you take your fingers to, they're like these little flaps kind of in the front of your ears. It's the tragus. And you can take your fingers right onto these little kind of cartilage flaps here and then move them back. So you just imagine you're going to take that part of your ear and pull it straight back. So not only are we moving the whole skull back, but we're also lengthening in the back of the neck. So once you get there, just hold that position. So we're not letting the chin lift up or overly drop down. And then just go ahead and relax your arms. You can soften or close your eyes. And then let's start by taking your left ear toward your left shoulder. And just feel that stretch down the right side of your neck. Now, if this is already enough, it's feeling great, you can hold it right here, or you can try reaching your right fingers out to the side. And maybe they touch the floor, maybe not. And just take a couple of really nice deep breaths, breathing in and out through your nose. And then if you have your arm out, keeping it there, but then just turn your gaze down like you're going to look over your left shoulder. So your chin is pretty much staying in the same line. You're just rotating the head. And then you can even try a little bit of movement, just bringing the chin slightly up, slightly down. And just notice what you find there. And just letting that be a gentle movement. Just noticing any areas that feel a little bit tense or restricted. And then if your right hand is out, go ahead and plant it back on your thigh. Turn your gaze forward again, and then take your left hand to the side of your face and gently lift your head back up. So a second side, let's take the right ear to the right shoulder. And you can stay right there or reach the left fingers out to the side. Not trying to force any opening there, but just using your breath to bring about a little bit more ease, a little more relief. And then if your arm is out there, you can keep it there and then just rotate your gaze down like you're going to look over that right shoulder, not moving the chin yet. And then if you want to, you can just lift the chin up and down just slightly. Just maybe notice anywhere that it would feel nice to hold. And then if you have your left hand out, just go ahead and bring that hand back to your thigh. Turn your gaze forward and then use your right hand on the side of your head to gently lift it back up. Nice. All right, so we are going to come around onto our backs and grab a hold of your block if you have it. I'm going to take it on its second setting like this. You are welcome to take it to the lowest setting as well. And we're going to take the base of the skull onto the bottom edge of the block. And so you can play around until you find this little occipital ridge here. It's kind of maybe right above the hairline at the base of the skull. And what you're looking for is kind of this feeling of like this ropey ridge of muscle. And you can let your arms relax. And then just slightly let the chin soften down without giving yourself a double chin. And we're not trying to force this or dig deeper, but just fully letting the weight of the head drop into the block. And if it would feel nice, you can do a gentle rock from side to side, pausing anywhere along the way that you need to. Especially if we are living with any forward head positioning. This is an area that you might notice gets really, really tight. And so in addition to kind of releasing some of this tension here, we also really want to focus on being able to hold that head in a good positioning throughout the day. All right, and then go ahead, slide that block off to the side to bring your head onto the floor. And now just notice any tendencies if maybe your chin wants to go up, shortening the back of the neck, and just see if you can take that area where you just had the block and lengthen that back so you feel more space at the back of the neck. And now we're going to work on a little bit of stability, especially getting into the front of the neck that tends to be weak for a lot of us. So lengthening the back of the neck, just lightly drawing the chin down, and we're going to barely hover the head above the mat, not letting your chin lift up. And then lower that back down. We're going to do a couple more like that. Lift the head up just barely. And lower it back down. Let's do two more. Lift up just a little bit. And back down. Last one. And lower back down. Harder than it looks, I know. So now we're going to rotate your head to the right and do the same thing. So we're going to lift the head up just barely and lower back down. 3 more just like that. Lift up and lower down. 2 more. And lower, last one. And lower. And then rolling your head over to the left. Lift the head up barely. And lower. Lift up and lower. 2 more. Lift up. And lower. Last one. Lift up. And release. You can bring your head back to center. Whew. Feel that in a good way. So we're going to grab a hold of your block again. Place it in between your thighs. Now try to keep this length at the back of your neck, and you can always have a block or a pillow behind your head if you need to there. And then feel your lower back ribs push down into the floor without jutting your chin. And we're just going to lift up for a low bridge. So lengthening the tailbone toward your heels. And just holding here in this bridge, lightly hugging the block. And what you'll notice is if you are someone that maybe tends to have your head a little bit further forward, maybe with some of that jutting of the chin, is that often that will impact the ribs and that they want to project forward as well. So when you lift up into this bridge, I want you to think about holding these front ribs down toward the back ribs so that we're really just working into the glutes and the hips here. And you can do some little pulses in the hips, just working to contain the ribs. You can even have your hands kind of wrapping around the front of your rib cage and almost just like fastening them together and down. And then we'll hold the bridge up here. Reach your arms up toward the ceiling like you're holding a tray. We'll stretch out the wrist. Pull the left fingers back with the right hand. And just feel that deep breath moving into the ribs. And switch hands. Beautiful. Now let your arms come down to the floor. We're going to super slowly lower the spine 1 vertebra at a time. That's it. And then keeping the block where it is, we're going to interlace our hands behind the head and cup the skull as you hug your elbows in. So let's take a deep breath in. Exhale. Exhale completely and lift up off your shoulder blades. And now without lifting your chin up, lightly push the back of your head into your hands without lowering the shoulder blades. Inhale and lower back down. Exhale, lift up off the shoulder blades. And notice here that your head is just coming along for the ride. We aren't lifting our body up from our neck. So really feel like you can pull these front ribs down, fasten them in. And so we are supporting that movement with the abs, not with the neck. Inhale, release. Exhale, lift up off the shoulder blades. Check in with the head. We're not letting the chin lift up, but we're just pushing the back of the skull into the hands, not lowering the scapula or the shoulder blades. Inhale, lower back down. So we're going to add some rotation on here. Exhale, lift up off the shoulder blades. Turn 1 inch to the right from your sternum. So from the center of your chest, not lowering that right shoulder blade. Pull the front body down more to lift you up instead of pulling on your neck. Come back through center. Inhale to lower. Amazing. Exhale, lift up off the shoulder blades. Turn 1 inch to the left from your sternum. Hug the arms in, lift up off that left shoulder blade by pulling down in the front body. Come back through center. Inhale, lower. We're going to do 1 more each side. Exhale, lift up. Turn 1 inch to the right, staying off that right shoulder blade. Come back through center. Inhale to lower. Last one. Exhale, lift up. Turn 1 inch to the left, staying up off the left shoulder blade. Come back through center and release. So let's take that block off to the side here. And we're gonna come around into a quadruped position on our hands and knees. So bringing the knees in maybe a little bit closer than you think you need to. And we're gonna check in with the head here. So what you can do here is take your gaze forward, and then we're going to drop the chin but not lower the head. So we're keeping the head at that same height, just bringing the chin down a little. So you wanna feel that length at the back of your neck. Now without changing that, you can have one hand on these lower front ribs and feel like you can just pull them into your body slightly without rounding in your back. That's it. Now we're gonna hold this position of the neck and the spine and reach your right leg back, toes are tucked on the floor. Hold it here. Fastening those front ribs together, and you can imagine even that little flap at the front of the ear lifting up toward the ceiling without the chin moving forward. Try reaching your left arm forward. Nice. Hold it there. You always have the option to try hovering the back leg, right? But we're just trying to get clearer about what we want our neck to do here. Lower the left hand, maybe the right foot, and then bring the right knee underneath you. Amazing. So let's take your left leg back now. Check in with the head, right? It's that moment-to-moment awareness of what your neck is doing. Maybe the right arm reaches forward. Fasten those front ribs together, and then lengthen all the way from your left heel and out of the crown of the head. Imagine that little olive on the toothpick. Maybe you hover the back leg. Maybe not. One more breath. And then we'll bring the right hand, left foot, and then lower the left knee. So let's lower down onto our forearms. We're gonna set up for dolphin. So you can have the forearms parallel or the hands interlaced, which is what I'm gonna do. Tuck your toes and then release your head. We're gonna lift the front ribs up into the back body and then pike your hips up. So it's like a downward facing dog, but we're on our forearms. Nice. So you can bend your knees as much as you need to here, but really think about lifting your front body up toward the ceiling and piking those hip creases up. Nice. Now we're going to take our gaze up toward the belly button. So you're looking up at your navel there, holding those front ribs in, and then drop the head back down. Let's do that a couple more times. Lift your gaze up to your belly button, and then bring your head back. One more time. Lift it up, keep pushing the forearms down into the floor. Bring your head back, and then you can just do a little movement side to side. Maybe even just kind of gently knocking each side of your head into your arms like a little pinball machine or something. Just give it a little shake forward and back. Nice. And then we'll lower down to our knees. And we're gonna come all the way up to stand at the front. All right. So let's take an inhale here, going into our Sun Salutation 1. Exhale, hinge and forward fold. So as you're hinging, keep that olive on the toothpick. We're not dropping it down. You can plant the hands either on blocks or the floor. Slide your right foot back, lower the knee, come onto the top of the foot. We're coming up into a 90-90 lunge. And let's go ahead and bring your left hand to your lower back ribs and your right hand behind your head. So we're taking these front ribs and pulling them back toward that left hand, and then bring your head and move it back into your right hand. Nice. Feel a little activation in that right glute. Hands come down to the floor, tabletop, and then feel the back of the head is lifting up toward the ceiling, the front ribs fasten. Step one foot back and then the other for plank without changing that. So we're not letting the head drop, the shoulder blades are firmly held on your back. Lift up, downward facing dog. Let your head relax. Right leg lifts up, inhale. Exhale, step that right foot as far forward as you can. Lower the left knee, come onto the top of the foot. And then bring your right hand to the lower back ribs, left hand behind your head. So move the front ribs back into the right hand and move your head back into your left hand. And firm up that left glute. That's it. Bring your hands down, floor or blocks, and we'll slide the left foot forward next to the right. Rise to stand, inhale. Exhale, hinge and forward fold. Plant the hands, step the left foot back, lower the knee, but not the toes this time. Come up for your 90-90 lunge. And this time we're just gonna start to roll in the shoulders. And you can kind of let your neck move with that. Just notice anywhere that maybe feels like a little crackly or crispy. Notice that we're holding the pelvis and the ribs steady as we move in the shoulders. And then we'll plant the hands, come into your quadruped, and then feel back of the head lifting up, front ribs are fastened together, step one foot back and then the other for plank, without dropping the head and without jutting the chin forward. Downward facing dog. Good. Inhale, left leg reaches up. Exhale, push into your hands, step that left foot forward, lower the right knee, keep the toes tucked, 90-90 lunge, and we roll in the shoulders here. So holding that pelvis steady. The front ribs are not projecting forward here. And the ribs can move a little bit, right? But they're contained. We're moving the shoulder blades on the back ribs. You can get your neck involved. And then we'll plant the hands, floor or blocks. Slide the right foot up next to the left. Inhale, rise to stand. Exhale, hinge and fold, keeping the neck in line with the spine. Plant the hands. We're gonna step the right foot back, lower the knee, but not the toes, and come up for your low lunge again. So interlace your hands behind your head, and we're gonna hug the elbows in, and then keeping these front ribs moving back, we're gonna point the elbows down toward the floor, so your chin is coming into your chest a bit. Nice. Keep firing up that right glute. Now we're gonna lift the head back up so it's kind of balancing on that little toothpick. Elbows can come out to the sides and then push the back of the head into your hands. So we're opening up the chest, but we're still holding this structure. Elbows come back in, point them down toward the floor. Chin can come in toward the chest. Big pull on that whole back line. And then lift the head up and then just push the back of the head into your hands as you open the elbows. So we're not letting the chin come up. Let's do that one more time. Elbows in, point them down. Lift the head up as you take the back of the head into the hands, opening the elbows. Amazing. Now bring your right hand down either to a block or the floor underneath the right shoulder. And we're gonna hold this right shoulder blade onto your back ribs, kind of tack it on there as you turn your ribs to the left and take the left arm up toward the ceiling. And then you can imagine there's like a little string attached to your left fingertips and it's reaching you up. Now let your right ear just melt toward that right shoulder. No need to look up at that top hand. Just feel a nice little release for the left side of the neck. Good. Now bring your left hand down. We're going to parallel our feet to the right, facing the long edge of the mat for a straddle. Now notice that you are not dropping your weight back into your heels, but that your weight is centered over the middle of your foot. Your knees are soft, and we've got some good support in the legs. And now we're hinging forward, aiming to keep a long spine with that as best you can. And then interlace your hands behind your head again. And your thumbs can even be like right at that ridge at the base of your skull. And we're not pulling on the neck, but we're just getting kind of this downward traction using gravity and the weight of the arms. So still some support of lifting the front ribs and the belly, not sinking back into the heels. Take one more nice big breath there. And then gently release your hands to the floor. We're going to turn to face the back of the mat. You can take your blocks with you if they're handy. And we're going to come up to a fingertip lunge. So the back knee is lifted. You can have your fingertips on the floor or on your blocks here. Pull your right hip crease back a little bit, and then see if you can lengthen your spine forward without lifting your chin. Nice. And now push into the feet. We're going to take the arms back for a tilted crescent. Amazing. Take your right hand to your lower back ribs and your left hand to the back of your head. So just like we did before, but just a little bit more demand here. Lift these lower front ribs into that right hand and lift the back of your head into your left hand. Gorgeous. Nice. Feel that left glute fire up to support you. Take one more breath. And then we're going to open this up into a warrior two, spinning the left heel down. Good. Arms come forward and back. Take an inhale. Exhale, reach up and back. And now let your left ear sink toward that left shoulder. Softening there to get the space, this opening in the right side of the neck. Inhale, warrior two. Exhale, side angle, right forearm to right thigh, left arm reaches up and over. Right ear can come toward that right shoulder. Inhale, warrior two. Exhale, reverse your warrior. And notice that you're able to relax your neck here because your core is doing the work. Core, the glutes, the hips. Inhale, warrior two, last time. Exhale, right forearm to the thigh, left arm reaches up and over, right ear toward the right shoulder. And then we'll come up, turn around to face the front of the mat and step your feet together. We've got one more side. Inhale, arms lift up. Exhale, hinge and fold, keeping your neck in line with your spine. Step your left foot back this time. Lower the knee but not the toes. Come up for your 90-90. Interlace your hands behind your head. Now we're holding the front ribs back. We're holding that left glute on. And then point your elbows toward the floor. Chin comes in toward the chest. Does not need to be a big movement there at all. And then we'll lift back up as the elbows go out to the sides. You move the back of your head into your hands, restraining the front ribs. And then bring the elbows back in. Lower them down. Hold the front body back. Lift up, push the back of your head into your hands. Open the elbows without letting the ribs collapse forward. You're going to feel more if you hold that core container. Promise. Last time, elbows come in. Point them down. Lift back up. Push your head back into your hands. Gorgeous. Now release your hands. You can bring your left hand down to the floor or a block under your shoulder. Now tack that left shoulder blade onto your back ribs as you turn to the right with your sternum. Right arm reaches straight up. Little twisted crescent here. And then imagine there was that string attached to your right fingers lifting you up. Let your left ear come toward the shoulder. And then breathe into that right side of your rib cage. We're going to bring the right hand down. Parallel your feet to the left, facing the long edge of your mat. So we're coming into our straddle, centering your weight over the middle of your foot, so not going back into the heels. And then you can relax your head down, just let it drop. And then interlace your hands behind the head, maybe with the thumbs right at the base of the skull. And then we're just lightly tractioning that down, not pulling, but just letting the weight of the arms come toward the floor. You could even take your thumbs right into that occipital ridge at the base of the skull. Give yourself like a little massage. Nice. Now take your hands down to the floor. We're going to turn to face the back of the mat. Maybe you take your blocks with you here. Coming into a tilted crescent, or a fingertip lunge to start. So we're up on the fingertips, either floor or blocks. Left hip crease pulls back. Spine is lengthened without the chin jutting forward. And now push into your feet. Reach the arms back. Tilted crescent now. So we're going to take the left hand to the lower back ribs, the right hand behind your head. And then pull these lower front ribs up into that left hand without rounding your back. And then the back of your head lifts up into your right hand. Okay. So you just feel even here that we have that head and neck balanced on the spine. Right, so once we feel that, we can start to take it and move it in a variety of ways. One more breath. Now we're going to spin the right heel down, warrior two, open the arms forward and back. Big inhale. Exhale, reverse, reach up and over, letting your right ear come toward the shoulder. Inhale, warrior two. Exhale, side angle, left arm to left thigh, right arm reaches up and over. Let your left ear come toward the left shoulder. Inhale, warrior two. Exhale, reach up and back. Still feeling that light fastening of the ribs together in front. Inhale, warrior two. Exhale, side angle. Nice. And we're going to windmill around to the front. Step the feet together and just pause here for a moment. You can soften or close your eyes. And just visualize your head on your neck, on your spine. It's perfectly balanced top to bottom. Feeling that length at the back of the neck. And just taking a moment to kind of set this in to your muscle memory. And set this into the wiring in your brain. So that you're able to come back to this feeling time and time again, and that this can become your new normal. And so when you're ready, I'm just going to come down to a seat and come to lie on your back. And you can always have something behind your head if you like. Knees can be bent or straight. Just taking a moment to settle into any comfortable position. And wherever you land, just feel that length at the back of your neck. Feeling your breath soft and steady. So that you just invite and allow a sense of ease around your neck, your shoulders, and all the way up into your jaw. Let your next inhale be a little bit deeper. Slowly exhale it out. Let's do that one more time, breathing in and breathing out. You can start to wiggle your fingers and your toes. And then if your legs are straight, just slowly bring one knee up at a time. And we're going to roll over to your favorite side. And then just notice here that you're able to push yourself up using the strength of your arms and not lifting yourself from your neck. So just starting to retrain the ways that the neck likes to do everything for us. And one final time, just in the seated position, just visualizing a little olive on the toothpick. Just feeling your head perfectly centered over the neck, over the spine. And just feel the difference. Definitely in your body, physically, but notice the emotional impact it has as well. And how we carry ourselves through the world and how we present ourselves. And in how we inhabit this body. So if your eyes are closed, you can gently blink them open. Wonderful job today. You know, my neck is feeling much better than when I started. So I appreciate you being here. If you enjoyed this class, it's always super helpful to me if you give it a thumbs up and hit subscribe, turning on notifications so that you never miss new classes. And I look forward to seeing you again next time. Thank you.